What's cracking, guys? Omar Isuf here with a very cool video. It's gonna sound too damn simple until you understand the science behind it. And what I'm essentially gonna say is that often if you have hip mobility issues, what can help alleviate some of that is doing the plank every single day before you lift. Let me explain why. Firing core stability can help reduce that protective tension around your hips. The core, is a very important contributor when it comes to the squat, right? You load the weight's here, your core's right here, and then comes your hips. And your hips actually attach to your spine. Now, let's break this down though. If you've been finding you've been doing a whole lot of mobility, you stretch out them hip flexors, you stretch out a whole lot of different areas of your hips, and they're still tight afterwards, this can be because your brain's essentially sending a signal to your body, to your spine, that like, you're kind of banged up, you don't have maybe that core strength, who knows, a lot of different things are going on. So it artificially makes those areas tighter. And so to overcompensate, like you use different muscles, right? Rather than using your core. Essentially what your body wants to know is that your spine feels safe while lifting. And if it doesn't, it'll try and protect it. So it'll jack up those areas. So for you guys, if you're finding that when you lift and when you stretch those areas, they're not getting better, consider just trying the plank to help, reduce some of that protective tension around those hips and see what happens. Like I said before, your spine essentially needs to feel safe. And it's kind of like this. If your spine doesn't feel safe, so let's say this is your spine and this is your hips. When it doesn't feel safe, it'll lock up your hips. So when you try and move one, they both move at the same time. So they're kind of locked up. However, when you reduce some of that tension by doing the plank, so you activate the core, so your body's kind of like, oh, I feel like in a better position. I can feel my core being utilized. Let's reduce some of that tension that we've developed on the hips. Instead, what will happen, the hips will loosen up a little bit, and then the back and the hips can operate independently of one another. So a lot of the times, it's not anything to do with hip mobility. You've been working on that stuff, you've been stretching out, you've been watching a lot of mobility videos, it's just not happening. It could be related to your core instead. And that's where bracing comes into play. That's where, the plank comes into play. By reducing that protective tension around your hips should loosen up. I can say safely for myself from doing this that I do find I plank now every single day, just light before I train. I'm going to throw up some clips. I got way better mobility in my hips and they just feel looser. And essentially it really does come down to that, right? Your brain's sending a signal to your body. When your spine doesn't feel in a good position, when it doesn't feel safe, your body's going to try and protect it by making your hips jacked up. Other areas are going to try and overcompensate. By doing a good bracing pattern, by doing, a good core exercise like the plank to work kind of that passive tissue down there, it will alleviate some of that tension you have in your hips. So try it out. The other thing too, it would take too long in this video to explain it, but also a side plank can be really good for internal hip rotation, trying to improve that a little bit if that's also jacked up. So some of these basic fundamental movements will go away from kind of like, push-ups. Push-ups are kind of magical for your shoulders, but we won't do them. Why? Oh man, that's basic. Doing a plank? Dude, are you kidding me? Well, if, like myself, you found after I had that SI injury, my hips would get just more jacked up, right? Just because this is tight, so then my hips get more tight. I started doing, shout out to my main man, Dean Somerset. Again, link will be in the description with his article. He put a phenomenal article breaking all this stuff down. But after talking with him, I'm like, yeah, man, I'll try, a plank every single day, doing like 3 sets for 1 minute or whatnot, doing it properly, making sure, my quads are squeezed, my core is tight, chin is over hands, all that stuff. I did it every single day, and within a week, honestly, I noticed a big difference. I did all the same mobility for my hips, but I just changed doing the plank before I lifted, and kind of getting that movement, feeling that, bracing. And that's why sometimes you'll also notice that when you use anterior load, like a goblet squat, it's easier to brace. You kind of get better hip mobility when you try and do that because you're counterbalancing it with something. Same concept here, guys. So if hip mobility is jacked up, you've been trying to fix it and you just can't quite seem to fix it, consider instead also incorporating a plank, 3 sets for 1 minute before you actually do your squats. And let me know in the comment section below if it makes a big difference, because it should. By firing that core stability, right, which is very important when it comes to the squat. Think about it. Weight here, this is your core right here. Torso rigidity is very important. And then you got your legs. By firing that core stability, it's going to help reduce that protective tension around your hips. So just think about it like that. That's it, guys. That's the video. Just want to make a quick video talking about that. Something that's made a huge difference for myself. That's the whole goal of the channel, providing, helpful, useful pieces of advice to help you lift stronger, smarter, and safer. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked the video, you're right at the end. I know you're ready to get, planking. Let's be honest here. Like the damn video, and I'll be seeing all you guys, my rascals, in that next video. Peace.